Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer from Somerset County Family, Community, and Health Science Department. Welcome to our Tasty Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about polenta. As you're joining us, comment below if you cook with polenta. I'm fairly new to it actually, even though I love cooking. It's an amazing thing to eat and prepare because it's naturally gluten-free. It's low in carbs, low in calories. So I want to show you different things that you can do with it and how easy it is to prepare. We're going to make it two ways. On my stove, I have 3 cups of water and 1 cup of milk boiling. We're going to make just the traditional creamy Parmesan polenta. Actually, these are quick. I got it from the organic food aisle. It says yellow corn grits, and basically you can find it in that aisle, or you can find it in the baking aisle next to the flour and the sugar, cornmeal. That's basically what polenta is. It's just cornmeal. You can also find it in tubes like this, right? And you're like, what do I do with a tube? There's a lot of things you can do, and actually I prepared a batch last night of the creamy grits, and it was delicious. I had grilled chicken and we served it with that. I had a lot extra, so what I did was I wrapped it in saran wrap. So I basically have my own tube, and this is flavored with, I used 1 cup of grits and 3 cups of chicken broth, and then I added in some fresh thyme that I had from my garden, and then the cup of Parmesan cheese. So instead of cutting up the plain one, we're going to cut up the one that I had made yesterday. Oh, you can't see those. Let me lower you down. Okay, thank you guys for joining in. Comment below if you have been using polenta. All right, so this is what I made last night, but you can certainly just buy the tube. And you just slice it into like inch-thick pieces, like this. So it just looks like that. And the little green things you see are my thyme from my garden. Okay, so I'm just slicing up 4 of them. I have a little olive oil in my pan already preheated, so I'm just gonna pop them onto my pan. Let them cook for a few minutes on each side just so that they can get nice and crispy, because this is already cooked from yesterday. So while that's going, I have my liquid boiled here. So I'm going to lower the temperature, and I'm going to add 1 cup of the grits. Okay, so you want to lower the temperature, and you just want to gently keep stirring it around for about 5 minutes. This is the quick grits. Usually if you're using the cornmeal, you might have to stir for 20 to 30 minutes, real slow. So like I said, this was 3 cups of water, 1 cup of milk, and 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of the cornmeal. And we're just gonna let that slowly all blend together. Okay, while that is cooking, we're gonna make our topping for our bruschetta. Okay, now actually that's going to be another pan, so we're going to make that in 1 minute. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, polenta is great because it's naturally gluten-free. It's made with corn, so it's a great substitute. So when we're talking about what can you do with polenta, for the cream, this grit porridge-like consistency, that could actually be not just a side dish to replace mashed potatoes, but that could be your main meal, especially if you are looking for, a plant-based meal. You can top it with all kinds of vegetables. You can top it with like a turkey sausage. You can top it really with anything, and it will bring out the flavors that you use in your sauce or herbs. Where you can get really creative is with this that we're frying up. So we're going to top it with some some grape tomatoes and just make a homemade warm bruschetta. You can top it with cream spinach. You could do a mushroom ragu. It's basically going to pick up the flavor of whatever you top it with. A pesto, even just plain old tomato sauce. Okay, so this is slowly coming together. I'm going to give our polenta over here a flip. Okay, that's coming together nicely. It's just getting crispy. You could also, if you don't want to use a pan, you can also use your grill from outside. So, just seeing if, can't see if anybody has comments. Okay. So this is coming together, starting to get thick. One tip I will say when you do make the polenta is as soon as it cools, that is where you get that consistency of it kind of congealed. So you do want to keep it warm. And I'm just constantly stirring it. A few more minutes and it will be ready. You can use any kind of cheese. We're going to use 1 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Actually, I have Peco Romano cheese. Blue cheese you can try. You can basically use any kind of cheese. So we're going to get that ready to go in a few minutes. Okay, now it's really starting to get nice and creamy and thick. So our bruschetta, I started to prepare it already. I've halved, I'll show you, some cherry tomatoes. And I love these. I had these in the refrigerator. This is where sometimes you can make a dish when you're like cleaning out your pantry and you're like, what can I use? These little cherry tomatoes were starting to go. They were starting to get like not so pretty. So I have them and we're just gonna throw them in the pan when this is done with a little olive oil and a little bit of fresh crushed garlic. And then we're going to add that to our bowl with fresh basil that I pulled from my garden, just like a traditional bruschetta. And that's what we're going to top the polenta with. So that is such a nice summer light side dish. You can have it with lunch and it's just going to look so pretty on the plate. Okay, this is coming together nice. I'm just going to show you the consistency. It needs a few more minutes still. Okay. You can see the consistency, so it's kind of like a porridge, like a grit. So this is super quick. This is actually quicker than making mashed potatoes because you'd have to boil your potatoes and that takes a long time. And this also has some potassium. It has fiber. Okay, let me check our fried polenta here. Okay. A few more minutes. Okay, what I'm going to do is transport them to a plate with a paper towel just so that they could drain some of the oil off. And we're going to make our bruschetta topping. So I'm just going to add a little bit more olive oil to the pan. The tomatoes, just until they get soft. Okay, let's check this. Oh, this is a great consistency. So like I said, it's great on the side. Here's a comment. Hi, Jess. Yes, it's so good. Let me see what your comment is. He liked it so much he finished. It's surprisingly, and I will say, like I said, I'm kind of new to this. And I'm like, where have I been? This is really delicious. Okay. So we're just kind of warming through the tomatoes. And I have 2 cloves of garlic. Just going to add that in there. Put your little little pinch of salt. Oh, I wish you could smell the garlic and the tomatoes. Okay, we're gonna let that 1 more minute. Keep checking this. Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Like I said, you could use water, you can use broth, but because I added the milk, I just stuck with the water. What bumps up the calories and bumps up the fat content is when you start adding a lot of heavy cream and butter. So you can have a lot of flavor by using the broth, cheese, and your herbs. Okay, that's just about done. So we're going to take these tomatoes. We're going to put the tomatoes in the bowl. We're going to chop up a little bit of basil. Roll it up, right? And just some slices of the basil. This is going to be such a bright and pretty dish. Okay, we're going to add the basil. I'm going to give that a nice little stir. A little bit more oil. Okay. And then, to assemble it, okay, here's our fried polenta. Just put that on the plate. Okay, and then we're going to top it with our bruschetta. Basically, it's just our tomato and our basil and our garlic. Look at that. Okay, there is our finished product. One way you can make, one way you can make the polenta in the bruschetta. And now we're going to add the Parmesan cheese. Oh, this looks so good. Okay, and grab a bowl and show you what this looks like. Okay, so look at that. We have our creamy polenta. So the texture, look, it's just, looks really hot. I'm gonna take a little taste. I just taste a little bit of the corn and the Parmesan cheese. It's light, it's comfort food. So you can have this all year round. I'm thinking when the fall comes on a cold day, this would be fantastic. And then you can use this version on a summer day. I love it. So share in the comments. Let us know your favorite way to make polenta. Like I said, it's super easy and a great healthy dish. Hope you've enjoyed watching. And tune in. I'll be here on Friday with my daughter making homemade fruit roll-ups. Have a great day.